one of them being, oops, got it.
Got it,
One of them
yes.
was the fact that they were splitting certain refunds with families that were filing jointly, which required a delay. So some people may receive a $10 to $13 reduction because they actually received too much in the previous September payment. So just to let them know that is correct, or probably is correct, but they'll be able to fix any final corrections on their 2021 tax return.
And I will say to all of you, if there's something you want to expand upon that you answered already, I saw a lot of great questions that you all were answering. If there's anything else you'd like to expand upon, or just, I don't know, introduce yourselves, you can also do that right now as we wait for any more questions to come in.
The one thing, am I muted or no? No, I'm speaking. Good. The one thing I wanted to let everyone know is we are 2 of the 3 LITCs in the state of Virginia. Jess and I are up in Northern Virginia in Fairfax at Legal Services, and David is down in Richmond, but Washington and Lee has a very good LITC run by a woman named Michelle Drumble, who has done it for a million years. So you people who are down in the southwest part of the state who have tax issues on your cases, you're welcome to call us, but I want to let you know that you have your own close by LITC in your area. So, and we all do the same thing and support each other and like to help everybody as much as we can.
Yeah, just to mention, the Washington Lee Clinic is currently being ran by a gentleman named Neil Burkhoff, who's extremely well versed. He's been on CTLP's advisory board for 20 years. He's filling in while Michelle Drumble is the current interim dean of the law school. So, and
I didn't know that.
CTLP is actually the statewide organization. So we actually cover Southwest. Washington Lee covers about a 1-hour radius of where they are in the law school. So call either one, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We all work together. So.
Yeah, there's just another one. So.
Yeah. Michaela, are you getting in? I see you popping up.
I know, I keep clicking admit, but then it just doesn't happen. So hopefully she figures that out. And it's been about the next minute or so, people who started the recording right at 11:45 should be wrapping up. So again, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat or the Q&A that you see on the right side, just similarly to the room you were just in. It's a new chat or Q&A, so you won't see the other ones that have already been answered. You can always go back at a later point to see those. The chats do not disappear. So if you remember later on, oh, I forgot to ask this question, you can always go back to this session and ask the question. It will send a notification to the presenters that a new question has been asked. Additionally, you could also reach out to the presenters directly, either via Whova, or you could reach out via email, of course.
Thank you for all for attending the tax talk.
In the chat, we have a question. Stephanie asks if we could discuss a little more on obtaining money to offset by the Treasury for past child due support, and for those who get the EIP and had to file for the refund.
The issue with that is that the IRS didn't have direct control over it. And the way the IRS treated the EIP is a different mechanism than the rebate recovery credit. So even though the credit that's claimed on the return is the same amount of money and represents the EIP, it didn't have the same protection that the EIP had in the laws that granted the economic impact payments. So even the IRS did have a policy where they were doing their very best to have to issue refunds that would mirror what the EIP would be. But even when that happened, that, they'd issue the refund, but it was then out of their control. And because there were claims with Maine Treasury to get the money, then the money would be sent to the state for the child support.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it's a
to
technicality, and it's everything was happening so fast during the pandemic that they really couldn't draft the laws in such a way to cover all these nuances. But is there a legal way to challenge that? Probably not. So because it's not even under the Internal Revenue Code, it's under Title 31, and it's a different animal and a different program.
If we could get involved in the situation before it got to TOPS or the Treasury Offset Program, I think is what we tend to use a lot of acronyms.
Right.
Then we can do some things such as an offset bypass refund type thing, or maybe file for injured spouse, like I mentioned in the chat. But once it gets to where you're speaking it got to, there's not much we can do about that.
And there's also nothing the IRS can do about it either.
Right.
So.
If anybody has any other questions, feel free to unmute yourselves and ask our host today.
And while we wait for any additional last minute questions, I will just say, first of all, thank you to the three lovely presenters who pre-recorded their session and then came live here today. I thought it was wonderful and answered a ton of questions throughout, you all watching the recording. So thank you all for attending as well and watching that and asking questions. The next sessions that will be happening, so you will have a lunch break now until 1:30. That's when the next sessions will be starting. And so be on the lookout for that. Make sure to take a break, eat some lunch, stretch, take a walk, and then come back at 1:30 for that. Again, if you remember questions for Nancy, David, or Jessica at any point after this, you could always revisit this session and write them in there, and they can continue to answer those questions. So feel free to do so. You can also continue the conversation on Whova. If you have other additional tax-related questions, you could create a bulletin board on there and talk that way as well.
Just so while we're waiting, just to let you all know, if your organization is facing tax questions that are coming up regularly, and you would like one of us from all three of the clinics to come out and give a specific talk more about that topic, that's something that we do on a regular basis. So don't feel free to ask, because it's something we like to do. And we would, we've all been doing this a long time, and chances are we probably have a presentation that is already created that we can provide and come and speak to you all. So.
All right, I am going to do one last check on my chat. If Lindsay, you could do the same. Not seeing any on my end, other than a kudos saying this was a great presentation. I definitely agree.
Same on my end. I'm not seeing anything else. Thank you all so much for your attention to detail and being here with us today.
Any parting words?
I guess now everyone's a tax lawyer now. You guys know the tax law.
No. We said we weren't making them into tax lawyers.
Don't be afraid of tax. It's not the scariest thing in the world, but we're here to help you. We're here to be a resource. So feel free to reach out. Even if you're not sure if it's a tax question, we'll let you know if it's a tax question. So, yeah. We're not scary.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for attending and for all of this knowledge. We appreciate it so much. And I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the conference. All right. Take care, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.